यदृच्छया चोपपन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारमपावृतम् सुखिनः क्षत्रियाः पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धमीदृशम् ईदृशम् युद्धम् सुखिनः क्षत्रियाः लभन्ते. It's a vakya, sentence. Hey Partha, सुखिनः, सुखी, सुखिनौ, सुखिनः, नकारanta shabda. So kshatriyaha, sukhinaha kshatriyaha, really the kshatriyas are very lucky to get such an opportunity. Idrisham yuddham labante. Only those who are lucky will get such a chance. What chance? This upapannam, that which has come, idrichaya by chance. What? This war, this dharma yuddha. That becomes Swargadvaram apavratam. Swargadvara, the door to Swarga is open for them. That becomes the entry for Swargaloka iti. And ho son of Pritha, only lucky Kshatriyas who are fortunate get this kind of battle, which has come by chance, and which is an open gate to heaven. Dwara means gate. Swargadvara, gateway to heaven, Swargaloka. So heaven, Swargaloka is a place where a jiva goes after maranam, enjoys the adrishta punya phalam. So for a valiant kshatriya, Swargaloka is guaranteed. So Swargaloka is guaranteed. If he wins a war, he rules a kingdom. If he is defeated in the war and got killed, then he will go to Swargaloka. So in both ways there is a labha only. There is no loss. And Edrichaya. Edrichaya means by chance. Chance. Something happens that without your willing or wanting it. Edrichaya. Here Krishna told Arjuna that the gateway to heaven, gates of heaven were open to him. This was something that had come to Arjuna without his desiring it. They had not wanted, they don't want the war, but it had been thrusted upon them. So war has been thrusted upon them. Therefore, without desire on the part of the Pandavas, this war has come. It is Duryodhana who really wanted this. Therefore, Edrichaya cha upapannam. And also Duryodhana on the Adharma side and Pandavas on the Dharma side. So to fight Dharma Yuddha is really a chance. It is said that a person who dies performing his or her duty goes to heaven, Surgaloka. It is a karma pala promised by the scripture, Shastram. Therefore, Krishna said, when you perform your duty properly, heaven, Swarga will be the result, Swarga Palam. The gates of heaven have opened for you without any prayer on your part. Krishna also told Arjuna in this shloka that this kind of battle, yuddham, idrisham yuddham, such kind of yuddha is not gained by ordinary people. Only kshatriyas, only warriors, they deserve. Therefore, only by the very lucky ones, sukhinaha kshatriyaha labante. So kshatriyas are in one way fortunate people because they get this chance, and that too, this yuddha, which is dharma yuddha, really it is a chance. It is a fortune, in fact. A question may arise here. Does this mean the Kshatriyas in Duryodhana's army were unlucky? No doubt they were also going to fight, but they had conflicts because they were supporting a usurper. Which side you take, that depends on your entry to Swargaloka. They are fighting with the guilt. People on the Duryodhana side, many have joined Duryodhana's side and fighting the sense of guilt. Whereas people on the side of Pandava, they had no sense of guilt because they are fighting a Dharma Yuddha. So therefore, they have no conflicts. Unlike Arjuna, they were not able to fight with a clean heart. To the people who are fighting, who have taken the sides of Duryodhana. Of course, they were soldiers and they had their own reasons for fighting. They may even have said it was a duty, perhaps. That was true. But still, for them, the inner conflict was unavoidable. As soldiers, they could only do what they were commanded to do. Therefore, they too were doing their Swadharma. But at the same time, it was not totally Dharmya, because the leader was a usurper. So on whose side you fight, that makes that makes a change. That is accounts for the difference. That accounts for the difference. The entry to Swargaloka. Of course, since they are fighting for Duryodhana, they are fighting for Duryodhana, though it was their Swadharma, but it is not Dharmyam, it is Adharmyam. So Duryodhana side fighting a Adharma war, and people on the side of Pandava fighting a Dharma Yuddha. So when you fight a war which is a Dharma Yuddha, so you have no sense of guilt. The sense of guilt is much more on the side of Duryodhana. So therefore, Yatha Raja, Tatha Praja, they say. The Raja here is a usurper, but poor soldiers, unfortunately, or for whatever may be the reason, they are to, or by force, they have to take the sides of Duryodhana, and their allies also fight for Duryodhana, Adharma. So therefore, and also another thing is, the number of Akshavinis on the side of Duryodhana is more. It means the people who were supporting or fighting for Adharma is more. Always the number will be more. People who were on the Adharma side, it will be more. And people on the Dharma side, always it will be less only. So Adharmikas are always more in number, and Dharmikas are always less in number. Most of the people, they offer themselves to the situations, the chances, and they take the easy ways, Adharma. So it requires a lot of courage to take the side of Dharma and fight. Therefore, the army on the side of Pandava therefore it is less compared to the army of Duryodhana. Duryodhana had 11 Akshavinis, whereas Pandava had only 7 Akshavinis. Number, the size doesn't matter. What matters is Dharma. So therefore, the entire army of Duryodhana, including Bhishma and Drona, were totally not convinced that they were about to do, that what they about to do was according to the Dharma. They were there primarily because they were obliged to Duryodhana. Bhishma had a reason. Similarly, Dronacharya also had a reason why they have to oblige Duryodhana. They were obliged to Duryodhana. Why? There is a reason. It is the pratigna of Bhishmacharya that made him take the side of Duryodhana, and of course Dronacharya, no choice. So therefore he also, since loyal to the Hastinapura, therefore, and the king of Hastinapura being Dhritarashtra, therefore had to obey the words of the Raja, and therefore taken the side of Duryodhana. Therefore they were obliged to Duryodhana. The war was foisted upon them and was not therefore totally in keeping with Dharma. Whereas for Arjuna, for Arjuna, it is a Dharma Yuddha. For him, it's a Dharma Yuddha. Therefore, Arjuna and the Pandavas and their army, they have no sense of guilt. And they were convinced they were fighting a Dharma Yuddha. And Arjuna's chance to protect Dharma. While no one enjoys a war, a Kshatriya who has to protect Dharma could never have a better chance to prove himself as a Kshatriya. Arjuna was a warrior. Therefore, Krishna may have said, only lucky Kshatriyas get a clean Yuddha to fight. It is no longer a question of your ambition for a kingdom because you are already willing to accept a house with 5 rooms. You have explored every possible way to avoid this war. But in spite of all your efforts, war has been declared, and it is definitely a Dharma Yuddha. Even from the standpoint of Dharma, Arjuna, you have no cause to grieve. From the standpoint of Atma, you have no cause to grieve. From the standpoint of Dharma also, you have no cause to grieve. So this is, Arjuna has no reason to grieve, from both standpoints. Paramarthika drishtya api, vyavaharika drishtya api, dharma drishtya. from the standpoint of Atma as well as from the standpoint of Dharma. But Arjuna is grieving. Arjuna is grieving. Therefore, only teaching is for him. Being a good person, and as he has understood the consequence of the war, which is going to be completely disastrous, and having seen his uncle and Pitamaha and others on the opponent side, therefore he grieved. While Krishna began to teach Arjuna, his original statement was Ashocha Nanvashochastvam. From there only the Upadesha started, 11th shloka of this chapter. Having established it as a fact, Krishna then told Arjuna that he is aggrieved for no reason. Aggrieve means unjustly grieving for no reason. That grief has no real basis. The grief has no legitimate reason. This was Krishna's argument. This argument is intellectually acceptable, and there is an emotion behind that. The emotion doesn't accept. It is very much convincing to the intellect, but the heart is not convinced. Therefore, Bhagavan Krishna presenting that grief has no basis from different standpoints. From the absolute standpoint and from the Vyavaharika standpoint also. Therefore, first he dealt with it absolutely, and then from simple relative standpoints, based purely on one's own duty, Sadharma. Why Sadharma is talking is being Kshatriya, Duryodhana, Arjuna here is committed to Swadharma. He will never slip. He will never slip from his Dharma, even at the cost of his life. Therefore, talking from the standpoint of Dharma, Swadharma, Arjuna may get convinced. Therefore, he is talking from the standpoint of Dharma. Having presented having talked from the standpoint of Atma, from the standpoint of absolute reality, now presenting the same from the standpoint of the duty, thinking that Arjuna would be convinced. But of course, Arjuna got convinced, and Krishna is going to present the same arguments which Arjuna presented in the first chapter, countering them. If you look at Arjuna's conflict from the standpoint of Dharma Shastra, he quoted from the Dharma Shastra in the first chapter. If not literally, but he talked about Dharma Shastra in the first chapter. We find that performing one's duty produces certain karma phala. The Dharma Shastra deals with what is to be done and what is not to be done, do's and don'ts, and what is right and what is wrong. It talks about the immediate result, drishtapala, of right action, in the sense that the action produces no conflict. Avoidance of conflict is the immediate result. The Dharma Shastra also talks of adrishtapala, an invisible result, credited to your account and enjoyed by you later. Every karma has got two types of results. Adrishtapalam, drishtapalam. Adrishtapalam and drishtapalam. Drishtapalam, it is drishta, it is visible. Adrishta, not visible. Therefore, punya papa is adrishtam. Drishtapala is what is experienced by you immediately, now here. Adrishtapalam, that will be in the account of the jiva. So that gets manifested at the right time, at the right place. So, but that palam is with you, that will be in your account. That is Ishvara's order, that Adrishtapalam may manifest in keeping with the various other factors in the right time, right place. So papam and punyam, Adrishta. Punyam is favorable or desirable situations. That palam which produces favorable situations, and papam is that palam which produces unfavorable situations or dukkham. So punya pala produces sukham, papa palam produces dukkham. Both are adrishtam. The Yuddha for Arjuna was in keeping with his duty. Therefore, the war itself was like the gates of heaven opening for him. Because any dharma can only produce so much going to heaven. Of course, it's a relative result. And as though by accident, without any prayer on his part, this result was assured to Arjuna. All he needed to do was to walk into the war and do what was to be done. Only the lucky one gets such an opportunity, not everyone. Therefore, only Edrichaya Upapannam, Idrisham Yuddham, and Sargadwaram Apavratam. Then Krishna further continued the same argument. Therefore, from starting from the shloka number 31 onwards, it is from the standpoint of his dharma, duty. Then Krishna continued further, 33rd shloka. Atachettamimam dharmyam
अथ चेत्त्वमिमं धार्म्यम्
sangramam na karishyasi
सङ्ग्रामं न करिष्यसि
tatasvadharmam kirtim cha
ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च
hitva papam avapsyasi.
हित्वा भावम् अवाप्स्यसि.
Atachet, ata on the other hand, but chet is avya. If imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi, sangramam, the fight, the yuddha. Sangramam na karishyasi. Sangramam is a karma for the kriya karishyasi. If you don't fight this sangrama, this yuddha, which is dharmyam, dharma upetam, which is dharmyam, imam dharmyam, this dharma yuddha, this war which is in keeping with dharma, if you don't take up, if you don't fight this war, then what happens? First of all, this war is, to fight this war is your swadharma. So if you don't fight, then swadharma, you will be the person who had refrained from doing his duty, swadharmam, and kirtim also the glory, the honor, the praise, the kirti, the prashamsa, the honor, itva. So you will be forfeiting, you will be neglecting your duty and also the glory of fighting this war. And the resultant is you will be gaining papam. You will be gaining papam. You will get papam for not doing your duty. Doing your duty is doing a duty is dharma. Not doing duty is, if not adharma, but it is also a sort of adharma only. Not doing, only doing adharma is adharma, but not doing what one is supposed to do at a given time, at a given place, that is also adharma. Dharma, adharma. Adharma is a nanch, tatpurusha samasa. So, that nanch, the negative, can be interpreted in many ways, 6 different ways. So, it can be virodharte, that which is opposed to dharma, adharma. Or absence of dharma is also adharma. That is absence of the order, absence of dharma. That is also equally a papam only. Not doing one's duty is equivalent to doing that which is opposed to dharma. So for refraining from war also is equally a papa karma only. It will bring only papam only. Because you are refraining from what is to be done. Okay. Then you will not get punyam, nor you will escape from the papam. So you will get papam only. So you will incur sin only. Papam, not sin. Papam is better. Papam avapsyasi. Here Krishna told Arjuna that if he did not undertake this battle, which was in keeping with dharma, he would be destroying his own dharma. Swadharmam. He will be destroying his own dharma. He will be not following his dharma. Therefore, not following is destroying. So destroying his dharma means, how can swadharma be destroyed? Not following. By not following, by neglecting one's dharma. That is what destruction is. By destroying his own dharma. Destroying what is to be done by you, not doing what is to be done by you, simply means you don't do it. Not doing. Destroying adharma is simply you don't do it. That is equal to destruction. Even though you don't literally destroy it, not doing it is equal to destruction, therefore papam. Therefore papam. Also the name and the fame, kirti, the glory, the name and the fame, the praise, whatever praise you have earned, whatever titles you have earned, whatever name you have in the society, that kirti, that Arjuna had thus far gained would be destroyed. Everything will be destroyed. And he would incur papam alone. Arjuna had said earlier that he would incur papam by fighting this battle. Therefore, only here Bhagavan Krishna is giving a counter to it. You said by fighting the war, you incur papam, but it is not. But Krishna was telling him now that by not fighting, you would incur papam in the sense that you would be guilty of a dereliction of duty. Not fighting itself would not incur sin, but running away from his duty as an action, a karma, that would incur papam. Running away from the war, that would incur papam. Therefore, Krishna said, you will incur papam, hey Arjuna, papam abhapsyasi, and you will lose your kirti also, name also. Arjuna had gained fame previously because of his earlier contact with Lord Mahadeva, Lord Shiva. And from him, he gained Pashpatastra. And Lord Shiva appeared in the form of a hunter to test him. Arjuna had hit a boar and was going to take it away when Lord Shiva appeared there and claimed that it was his. He incited Arjuna to fight with him. Although Arjuna realized that he was up against someone more than an ordinary hunter, still he was equal to Lord Shiva in the fight. Pleased with Arjuna, Lord Shiva blessed him with a weapon. Because Arjuna had encountered Lord Shiva and engaged him in battle, therefore Arjuna had gained a great name, all of which would be lost. That is the kirti. Therefore Krishna says, kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyasi, you will lose your name as well as you will incur papam. Not performing an action is not a papam. Not performing an action that has to be done is considered papam. However, it doesn't constitute papam. It's considered sinful, however, it doesn't constitute papam. Not doing anything cannot attract a punitive response. How can it? Only action produces a result. Inaction cannot. Inaction can only maintain the absence of some result. Absence in the sense that if you had done something, there would have been a result. If you don't do what is to be done, you don't directly produce any result, but there will be a result nevertheless. For example, if you don't bath, if you don't bathe, shower or launder your clothes, whether you see the result or not, others will see it. The result will be very clear. This is what is meant by Drishtapala. If you don't tidy up your room, you will see the results in just 2 days. It will be a mess. This is the natural entropy that it is a part of the creation, not doing something that can attract Drishtapalam. Adrishtapalam accrues only when you do it rightly or wrongly. To say that if you don't perform an action, you incur papam is a very loose statement. The point is that when you don't do what is to be done, you will do something else instead, and that action may attract adrishtapalam. So not doing means doing something else. Later, Bhagavan Krishna says, Swadharme nidanam shayaha paradharmo bhayavagaha. So here also Arjuna, he was thinking of giving up everything and take it to sannyasa and run away. So giving up one thing, you take up another thing. So if you don't do one thing, you will be doing the other thing. So that thing will produce palam. So running away from the battlefield is an action, a retreating action on Arjuna's part. Giving up his duty and doing something that was not his duty would definitely attract adrishta palam. That Arjuna could avoid this papa then was another argument based on dharma put forward by Krishna. At the same time, Krishna said Arjuna would lose his name also, his kirti. Arjuna may have replied, how can I lose my name? People will praise me. They will say that Arjuna was so compassionate that he gave away the kingdom and walked into the forest. He could have had the kingdom easily because he had the weapons to destroy the arrows of Karna and Drona. Still, he gave away the kingdom. What a compassionate man Arjuna is. But Krishna said, no, that it would not happen at all. It would not happen that way at all. Why? Because people will be criticizing him if he runs away from the battle. That's said in the next shloka. Let us read. So all these are from the dharma standpoint. Akirtim chapi bhutani
Akitim chapi bhutani
katahishyanti te vyayam
kadayishanti devyayam
sambhavitasya cha kirtihi
sambhavidhasya cha kirtihi
maranadatirichyate.
maranadatirichyate.
From the shloka number 11 to 30, it is Upadesha on Tattvam, the reality, Atma Tattvam. Why Shoka has no legitimate reason from the standpoint of Atma? That is Jnanam. From the shloka number 31 up to 38, here there is no Jnanopadesha involved, but Upadesha or the arguments as a response to the arguments which Arjuna had put forward in the first chapter. So in the first chapter, Arjuna, he argued from different standpoints why this war should not be fought. As a counter to that, these arguments are given from 31 to 38. And 39, there is going to be a change of topic. Karma Yoga is going to come. So that is how this chapter is arranged. So here in this shloka, he says, Akiyatim. In the previous shloka, he said, you will lose kirti and you will be criticized for dereliction of duty. Swadharmam kirtim. Here also akirti. Akiyatim chapi bhutani katayishyati. They all akirti, they will criticize you. They will dishonor you. How to dishonor? They use all sorts of words and they criticize you. Akiyatim katayishyati. They will speak. They will do. Who? The opponents. The opponents, Duryodhana and others, they will speak ill of you. Akirtim. They will talk all nonsense about you. Sambhavitasya cha kirtihi maranat atirichyate. For a kshatriya, compared to such an akirti, death, it is worse than death. The akirti is worse than death. Akirtihi maranat atirichyate. Maranat atirichyate. So it means akirti, that this dishonor is worse than death. Death is worse means, so death is a final end. After that, there is no life on the part of the jiva. So there it ends. Similarly, everything is completely will be shut down for Arjuna. So dishonor. This dishonor is worse than death. Then having this dishonor, you cannot move around. Then you are like a dead person. So dishonor for a kshatriya is worse than death. And for kshatriya, the honor is an important thing. Kirti is an important thing. So therefore, Krishna uses a very right word, kirti. So this is a very sensitive thing, which saying that Arjuna may get back to normalcy. Therefore, uses this word. This for a kshatriya, this akirti is worse. Maranat atirichyate, worse than death. No kshatriya would be able to survive with akirti, with dishonor. They will commit suicide. Compared to living with dishonor, death is better. That is how the kshatriyas think. So therefore, he says, Maranat atirichyate. Also, people will speak of your unending infamy, akirti. For the honored, dishonor is surely worse than death. Apamana is equal to or worse than death. Apamana, dishonor. And for a kshatriya, it is much more. Kshatriyas, for them, this honor is important. The kirti is important. So therefore, Arjuna could not, being a Kshatriya, could not tolerate this akirti. People will be betrayed. People will be criticizing him, belittling him. So that Arjuna would not able to withstand. So therefore, Krishna uses akirti. Bhutani reference to all the beings, all the human beings, all the people on the opponent side. Here, Bhutani mean beings, but here referring to the people on the Duryodhana side. Not only great men were included here, they too would talk, of course, along with all of the recent recruits who had come to fight, who did not even know how to button their uniforms properly. They would tell all kinds of stories. Katayishyanti, they will tell, future tense, Lutlakara, Katayishyanti, about Arjuna, each one creating his own version. Their imaginations would run wild and rumors would quickly spread. They would use words that betrayed Arjuna's Kavadi's Akirti, and people would continue to talk about it for all times to come. Even children of subsequent generations listening to the Mahabharata would giggle when the topic of Arjuna would come up because he was the one who ran away from the battle. They would ask, which Partha are you talking about? The one who ran away from the battlefield. Thus, Krishna told Arjuna that not only those on the battlefield would talk ill of him, but all the ordinary people also would do the same. For someone who had no name or fame, there would be no problems. No one would care whether he ran away from the battlefield or not. People would only assume that such a person was one of these soldiers who ran away. But if Arjuna ran away, it would be front page news because he was held in such high regards. Akirti, ill fame, is not the same as loss of fame. Akirti also nanch tat purusha. Kirti na kirtihi akirti. It's not same as a loss of fame. It is opposite of fame. Virodharte, nanch. And it is worse than death for the one who was held in high esteem by the society. The argument here is, if that Arjuna cared about dharma, he should not leave the battlefield. If he did leave, he would incur papa. Even if he did not care about incurring punya papa or about his own dharma, but cared only for his own name and fame, that ill fame would be worse than death because no one can live with ill fame, which is not at all legitimate. To have earned ill fame is one thing, but if it is unearned, undeserving, Krishna said it is worse than death. Therefore, Arjuna might as well have asked, how will I have ill fame just by going away? To this, Krishna says, let us read this also. Bhayad dranadu paratam
Payadranatu bharatam
mamsyante tvam maharathaha
Amsyante tvam maharathaha
yesham chatvam bhagumato
Yesham chatvam bahumato
bhutva yasyasi laghavam.
Budva yasyasi lakavam.
This Maranad Atirichyate Kirti, there's another incident is there in the Mahabharata. When Ashwatthama, the son of Dronacharya, at the end of the war, after the war, when Duryodhana and their army was destroyed, Ashwatthama is one of the Chiranjeevi. He doesn't have death, so he survived. And having left now, Ashwatthama who fought very valiantly and who had taken the sides of Duryodhana, was close friend of Duryodhana. He was only one person left out. He and of course Kripacharya, another Chiranjeevi, they were the people left out on the side of Duryodhana. So after the war, Ashwatthama, he came to the Pandava's tent when Pandavas were all sleeping. Sons of Pandava, grandsons of Pandava, and Pandavas were all sleeping. When they were sleeping, Ashwatthama killed all of them except the Pandavas. Pandavas were probably in another tent. So he killed all the sons and grandsons of Pandavas. Then when he was caught when he was caught, when when ordered by Krishna, Arjuna wanted to destroy. Arjuna, when ordered by Krishna, and Arjuna wanted to kill him. That time, Arjuna could not do the killing of Ashwatthama because he happened to be the son of his guru. Therefore, instead of killing him, he was having a crown, a chudamani in his head, a chudamani. That was his kirti. So he removed that chudamani from his head. That is equivalent to death. So killing a person is killing a person is one thing. Killing a person by dishonoring him, that is worse. So Ashwatthama was dishonored, which is worse than death. Therefore, instead of killing him, Arjuna removed the chudamani, what he had in his head, and he said that is more than death. So therefore, he didn't kill him because he happened to be the son of his guru, beloved guru. Therefore, he left him. So this is Maranad Atirichyate. It is worse than death for a Kshatriya. And after the Ashwatthama, he felt humiliated, very much humiliated. If Arjuna had killed him, that would be better. But he cannot be killed. Ashwatthama is Chiranjeevi. So therefore, dishonored him. Dishonoring a Kshatriya is worse than death for a Kshatriya. It's a very sensitive thing for a Kshatriya. Therefore, that argument Bhagavan Krishna used in the previous shloka. And also, here, Arjuna might as well have asked, how will I have ill fame just by going away? To this Krishna said, Vayadranatu paratam mamsyante tvam maharathaha yesham chatvam bhagavato bhutva yasyasi lagavam. All in the shlokas, you can see the future tense. In the shlokas in this range, you will see the lut lakara, mamsyante mandatu, manyate manyete. Future tense, mansyate mansyate mansyante. Similarly, yasyatsi, Madhyama Purusha Ekavachanam, yasyasi. Future tense. Bayadranadu paratam mamsyante tvam maharataha. You ran away from the battlefield out of fear. Iti maharataha. All the great people, warriors, they will consider you that you have ran away from the battlefield out of fear. And not only that, yesham chatvam bhagumataha bhutva yasasi lagavam. So, you who have been highly honored, esteemed by them, then you will fall. Yasyasi lagavam, you will become insignificant in their perception. Yasyasi lagavam. Lagavam is light. Light means you will fall. You will fall from there. If you will fall from your glory. From that is, they will perceive you as nothing. They will perceive you as nothing, that you have fall. They will look down upon you. That's what lagavam. Bhutva yasyasi lagavam. They will look down upon you, by whom you were praised before. By whom you were praised before, now they will look down upon you. They will take you lightly. You will lose your glory. You will losing your honor. So therefore, Maharataha, the great warriors, now will consider you as having retreated from the battle due to fear. Fear of what? Fear of death. Bayat, fear of death or fear of being defeated, whatever may be the fear. But out of fear, Arjuna ran away from the battle. And having been so highly esteemed by them, you who were much esteemed by them, were in high esteem, now they will look down upon you. You will fall in their esteem. Lagavam. Bhutva yasyasi lagavam. You will be looked down upon by them now. The word Maharathas refer to Karna, Duryodhana, and others. The staunch enemies of Arjuna. They will look down upon you. Arjuna, you will be looked down upon by these Maharathis. Karna was an Arjuna's arch enemy, and along with Duryodhana, was supported by others of great valor. In this verse, Krishna told Arjuna that they would look upon him as one who had run away from the battlefield out of sheer fright at the sight of Karna and Duryodhana's army. These were not ordinary men. They were people who counted the society. To them, Arjuna had always been a great man. Even Duryodhana considered him to be the greatest. That is why they were so afraid of him. But although they had always held Arjuna in such high esteem, Yesham Chatvam Bhagumataha, Bhagavan Bhagamanto Bhagumataha, Bhagumataha held in high esteem, honored him. They would now consider him as a lightweight, Lagavam. They would look upon him as a feather that is easily blown away. He would become an ordinary person to them. Krishna knew that Arjuna was a great man and that his problem was one of affection and sympathy. That is why he told Arjuna that they would look upon him as the one who ran away. Krishna knew that Arjuna's desire to run was not out of fear, was not due to fear, and that in fact he was not running away. Rather, Arjuna was giving up the fight according to his own arguments out of sympathy. But Krishna knew that no one would understand that. There was no dharma involved, nor prudence either. Krishna therefore told Arjuna that running away would neither be a prudent nor an ethical action. He would lose all of the name and fame that he had earned thus far, which would prove to be worse than death. Maranatirchyate. People would make fun of Arjuna. If he went to Rishikesh and sat under a tree, all the pilgrims would come to see Arjuna who had run away from the battlefield. And having become a sadhu, there would be no recourse for Arjuna. At least if he had remained as he was, people would be afraid of him. But no one is afraid of a sadhu because he has taken the oath of ahimsa and therefore cannot seek restitution. People will come and talk ill of you, Arjuna. Krishna said. They will say, what kind of a sadhu are you, Arjuna, to have gone against the dharma? You will have to live with all their accusations, and you're not going to enjoy that. Stop here. And we'll continue. Next sloka, next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Dhanyavadaha